as an ERC20 on Ethereum, and then how you bridge it, move it securely over to the Apertum network. Think of this as like your fast track guide through a pretty technical manual. We're taking something potentially overwhelming and breaking it down into clear, actionable steps.
Absolutely. And, in DeFi, decentralized finance, precision is just key. Every click, every confirmation, it all matters. Understanding these exact steps is, well, fundamental if you're dealing with assets like wBTC and platforms like Apertum. It's about doing it right and doing it safely.
Okay, great. Let's kick things off then. Phase one, actually acquiring that wBTC on the Ethereum mainnet. Where do we even begin?
Right, so the very first thing, and honestly super important for security, is connecting your wallet. You'll go to the specific platform URL they provide, then you'll see a connect button. Click that, you probably get options, select other wallets, and then specifically Metamask.
Okay,
Then just hit connect again to confirm, and bam, you're connected. But always double check that URL first. Phishing is rampant.
good point. Always check the URL. So you're connected.
Yeah.
Now, how do you find the actual wBTC within the platform?
Usually pretty straightforward. There'll be a search bar or function somewhere.
Right.
Just type in wBTC. You should see wrapped BTC pop up. Select that one.
Simple enough. And once we've got wBTC selected, how do we actually start the swap, get the wheels turning?
Okay, so now you're setting up the trade. You'll see a drop-down menu usually. This is where you choose what crypto you want to pay with. Could be ETH, maybe USDT, whatever you have. Select your crypto. Enter the amount you want to swap for wBTC. Then you'll see a button like Review. Click that and really take a second here. Check the rate, the fees, the amount you're getting. Make sure it all looks right before you commit.
Okay, review is key. Now, this next part, this is where things can get a bit more involved, right?
Yeah.
Especially for folks using hardware wallets for extra security, like, say, a Keystone device.
Exactly. This is the critical security check. After you hit sign and swap on the screen and then confirm if, and this is important, if your Keystone is properly bound to your MetaMask, you'll see a QR code appear on your computer screen.
Ah, the QR code. Only if it's bound, though.
Correct. That QR code holds all the transaction data, so you pick up your Keystone device, find the scan function button on it, press that, and scan the QR code on your computer screen.
Okay, scanning.
Then, on the Keystone itself, you need to approve it. You might swipe or enter your PIN or use your fingerprint, depends on your setup. This is what keeps your private key totally offline and safe.
Right, that physical step.
Once you've approved it on the Keystone, tap Get Signature. The Keystone then generates another QR code. This is the signed transaction. Hold that Keystone QR code up to your PC's camera so MetaMask can read it.
Okay, showing the code back to the computer.
Yeah, and then just tap Done on the Keystone itself. It sounds like a lot, but each step is a security layer.
It does sound meticulous,
Yeah.
but you can see why. So after all that, the wBTC should just appear in your MetaMask.
Exactly. It'll show up under your tokens list on the ETH mainnet. You've successfully and securely bought your wBTC.
Fantastic. Part one complete. Now for the next big step, bridging. Moving that wBTC we just got from Ethereum over to the Apertum network. Can you maybe quickly explain what bridging actually is for anyone new to this?
Sure thing. Think of it like moving money between two different banking systems that don't normally talk to each other. Blockchains like Ethereum and Apertum are separate networks. A bridge is basically a protocol, a set of smart contracts that lets you lock up an asset like wBTC on the source chain Ethereum in this case, and then issues an equivalent version of that asset on the destination chain Apertum.
Got it. Like sending a secure package from one island to another.
Mm.
So how do we start this bridging process using the DAO1 platform mentioned in the guide?
Right, so you'll need to log into your DAO1 dashboard first, using their specific URL. DAO1 is the application providing this bridge. Once you're in, look for an app section, click that, and then select bridge.
Okay, apps, then bridge. Makes sense.
And just like before, you'll need to connect your wallet again. Select MetaMask and approve the connection so the bridge application can see your wBTC and interact with it.
Okay, connected again. Now, setting up the actual bridge transaction, the guide says select details as specified. That sounds a bit vague. What kind of details are we talking about here? What's crucial?
That's a fair point. It's usually things like confirming the from network is Ethereum, the to network is Apertum. You'll also explicitly select the asset, which is wBTC, and enter the amount you want to bridge. Double checking these is critical. You don't want to send your funds into the void.
Right, check, double check. Got it.
Once you're sure the details are correct, you'll click Approve. This gives the bridge contract permission to access that specific amount of your wBTC. Then click Confirm, and guess what? If you're using a
Let
Keystone,
me guess. Another QR code.
you got it. Only if it's bound, of course. The process is exactly the same as before. Scan the code on the screen with your Keystone, confirm the approval on the Keystone device itself using swipe, PIN, or fingerprint.
Okay, approve on the device.
Then tap Get Signature on the Keystone, show the resulting signature QR code to your computer's camera.
So the code back.
And finally, tap Done on the Keystone. That's the approval step locked down.
Okay, so approval done. We've given permission. Now for the main event, right? Actually migrating the wBTC across the bridge.
Precisely. The approval just gives permission. Now we execute the transfer. You'll probably close any notification windows first, maybe click Close Extension. Then you should see the main Migrate button. Click that.
Migrate active.
Then click Confirm one last time to initiate the actual bridging. And one more time for our Keystone users.
Another QR code sequence.
The very same. It's consistent, which is good. So QR code appears on screen.
Scan with Keystone.
Confirm the migration action on the Keystone device.
PIN or swipe.
Tap Get Signature.
Show the signature QR code to the camera.
And tap Done on the Keystone. Repetitive, yes, but ensures every crucial step is physically signed off.
Okay, that feels like the core action is done then. The wBTC is officially on its journey.
Pretty much. You'll likely click Close Extension again. You might get an option like View Transaction Details. Clicking that usually takes you to a block explorer where you can watch the transaction progress, which can be reassuring.
Yeah, good to track it.
Then you can just click Close. Back in the DAO1 dashboard, you should see your transaction listed under something like Pending Migrations. It's now in the bridge's hands.
All right, so the wBTC is bridged, it's pending, but how do we actually see it in our Metamask wallet, but on the Apertum network side this time? That's the final piece,
right?
Making sure it shows up.
Exactly. The tokens are technically there on Apertum associated with your address, but Metamask doesn't automatically know about every single token on every network. You have to tell it.
Ah, okay, so it's not automatic. What's the process?
So first, make sure your Metamask is actually switched to the Apertum network. That's a common trip-up. You need to be on the destination network.
Right, switch network in Metamask first. Crucial.
Then you'll probably need the specific contract address for wBTC on the Apertum network. The guide likely points you to a URL, maybe Apertum's site or an explorer, where you can find this. Find the official wBTC token on Apertum and copy its contract address, that long string of characters.
Copy the address. Got it.
Now, back in Metamask, still on the Apertum network, go to your tokens list, scroll down, and you should see an Import Tokens link or button. Click that.
Import tokens.
Okay. It might ask you to confirm the network. Again, select Apertum if needed. Then paste that wBTC contract address you copied into the token contract address field. Metamask should automatically detect the token symbol, wBTC, and decimals. Then just click Next or Add Custom Token.
Almost there.
Finally, click Import or Import Tokens.
That should do it.
That's it. The wBTC token with your bridge balance should now appear in your token list within Metamask, visible while you're connected to the Apertum network. Success.
Wow. Okay, that was definitely a deep dive. We went from acquiring wBTC on Ethereum, navigating that whole hardware wallet confirmation process multiple times, then bridging it over to Apertum via DAO1, more confirmations, and finally the crucial step of importing the token address so it actually shows up in Metamask on the Apertum side.
It really highlights how deliberate you need to be in DeFi right now. Every single step, every connection, every approval, especially those hardware wallet steps, they're not just formalities, they're essential for making sure things work securely.
Absolutely. And that brings us to a really interesting point to leave you, our listener, thinking about. We've just walked through this incredibly detailed, multi-step, almost ritualistic process just to move one asset between two networks. What is the need for guides this specific, this meticulous? Tell us about where we are with user experience in decentralized finance today, and maybe more excitingly, how do you think these kinds of processes might change? How can they become simpler, more intuitive, more user-friendly without losing the vital security that underpins the whole thing? Something to ponder.